What if your favorite YouTubers were charged for their crimes? From a YouTuber speeding in a school zone to another getting banned from half the world. I'm breaking down their craziest moments and the legal consequences, starting with Mr. Beast. In December 2022, Mr. Beast uploaded a video that skyrocketed to over 1.4 billion views. In it, he challenges someone.
If I give you $300, would you fly to Paris and bring me back a baguette?
Flight included?
Yeah.
He's thinking about it. Oh, he stuck him in the economy? Come on, Mr. Beast.
I can't believe she's actually getting 12 baguettes right now.
I hope Mr. Beast is hungry!
Oh, there it is. But here's the issue. That last part, it's illegal. Right here, this shot of the Eiffel Tower lit up at night is where things get tricky.
How is that illegal?
Well, France has a unique copyright law. Most countries allow you to film buildings that are visible from public spaces, a concept called freedom of panorama. France does not. For some monuments, you have to wait until their copyright protection ends, which is 70 years after the creator's death. The Eiffel Tower's copyright actually expired in 1993, but the lights they added in 1985 are still protected. What does that mean? Well, as a tourist, taking a photo for personal use is totally fine. But if you're a YouTuber like Mr. Beast, using footage of the lights to make money through views on the video violates French copyright law. So technically, Mr. Beast broke the law. And if the company that operates the Eiffel Tower decided to enforce it, he could face fines up to 300,000 euros and up to 3 years in prison.
Do you think they'll actually go after him?
I mean, probably not, as they don't seem overly concerned with enforcing the rule. And even if they did, he likely wouldn't face any fines and would instead just receive a cease and desist letter asking him to take the video down. However, the same cannot be said for some of the YouTubers I'll be covering later in this video who committed much more serious crimes, such as a YouTuber who physically assaulted someone and another who put his cameraman and many others in serious danger. But first, I want to talk about a YouTuber who may have gotten himself banned from half the world. It's the second half of 2024, and insanely popular YouTuber IShowSpeed is traveling the globe on a chaotic world tour. From crashing a tuk-tuk in Thailand, to sparring in Greek street boxing matches, and even learning the hard way why you shouldn't enter the personal space of a dog in South Korea. Oh man. But the trouble doesn't start in any of these countries. Instead, it begins in a country many people overlook, New Zealand. Most tourist visas allow visits for up to 3 months, but they don't allow working or earning money. To work, you need a special work visa designed for traditional jobs, like being a lawyer or teacher. What lawmakers didn't expect back when these laws were created was that someone like IShowSpeed could arrive and work anywhere as long as they had their computer, phone, and an internet connection. New Zealand's government is now investigating whether Speed violated immigration law. If they determine he did, there are 2 potential consequences. First, he could owe taxes on the money he earned while streaming there, as New Zealand and most other countries follow the 183-day rule. This rule states that taxes are only owed on income that you earn in a country if you have lived there for more than 183 days within a year. But seeing as Speed wasn't in New Zealand for 183 days, the more likely consequence, if he's found violating immigration law, is a fine up to $3,000 and a complete ban from re-entering the country. But that's not the biggest problem. If one country rules against him, others could follow. So far, Speed has streamed in over 17 European countries and 6 in Asia, and he's planning a South American tour. All these places have similar visa laws, which means Speed could suddenly be banned from half the world. That's crazy. Next, let's talk about Jesse from Nelk. In 2017, he and his team came up with a prank to enter a Bass Pro Shop in Ontario, pretend to be a fisherman, and try hooking a monster catch in the store's giant fish tank.
Wait, he actually tried to cast a line into their fish tank?
Yep, I mean, I get the excitement, but if you want to catch big fish without getting kicked out of a store, just play Fishing Clash instead. No security guards, no angry employees, just world-class fishing spots like Florida's coast and the Kenai River, right from your phone. Now, as Jesse walked up to the front entrance with a fishing rod over his shoulder, an employee stopped him and immediately told him not to enter. But Jesse continued trying to go inside, claiming there was a lake in the store. He continued trying right up until another employee and even a security guard told him and his team to leave. His friends laughed, but the staff didn't.
He needs better friends.
I actually heard he left the Nell group, kind of like how you dropped our group call after I beat you in Fishing Clash. Playing with friends, family, and 50 million other people in daily events and competitions is what I love about Fishing Clash. While most people would have gone straight home after being asked multiple times to leave, Jesse didn't. Instead, he and his team lingered in the parking lot, laughing about the situation with fans, prompting the security guard to tell him to leave again. This is a problem because under Canadian law, this parking lot is still considered private property, and if you refuse to leave private property after being told to do so, you're breaking the law by trespassing. Speaking of big, that's another reason I love playing Fishing Clash. I can upgrade my rod and equipment, collect rare lures, and aim to catch the biggest fish from over 100 different species. That's something my friend Joel here isn't so great at, right Joel?
Oh man.
Anyways, it gets worse for Jesse, as alongside trespassing, attempting to fish inside a store and pretending to fish in the parking lot, especially with a hook on the line, could be considered mischief if it disrupts business or puts other customers at risk. Oh, and for anyone wishing to join me in Fishing Clash, download the game using the link in the description below, scan the QR code on the screen, or use the code LawByMike to claim a $20 value reward and a unique avatar for free.
So what's the fine for Jesse?
Well, Canada would likely consider this a summary offense, which means he could face up to a $5,000 fine and up to 6 months in prison. But given the circumstances, he'd likely just get slapped with a small fine. I think something like this happening would cause Jesse's fans to be pretty upset. However, I don't think this next YouTuber got quite the same support from his fans. Next is the biggest tech YouTuber in the world, Marques Brownlee, who posted crisp footage of the inside of his Lamborghini while driving until it reveals something else. He's speeding. The posted speed limit is 35 miles per hour, but Marques's dashboard clearly shows 96 miles per hour at one point, 61 miles over the limit. His team tried blurring the main speedometer, but forgot there were 2 other displays still in plain view. He even flies past a school crossing sign. Many of Marques's fans argued he committed a crime and should face consequences, and they'd be right. Under New Jersey law, the state where Marques lives, going 35 miles per hour over the speed limit is illegal, and there's a sliding scale for fines and points. But at 61 miles per hour over, he likely crossed into reckless driving territory. For a first reckless driving offense in New Jersey, penalties can include up to 60 days in jail, a fine up to $200, and a penalty on your driver's license. If it's not your first offense, jail time can extend up to 3 months, with fines up to $500. Marques quickly apologized on Twitter, owning up to his mistake. While some people were willing to move on, others were not so forgiving, unlike the next YouTuber, whose actions were met with surprising approval. In June 2024, fitness YouTuber Bradley Martin streamed with Stable Ronaldo at Bradley's Zoo Culture Gym. Let's watch the clip.
Damn, actually?
Oh man, that looked like it hurt. Yeah, he can definitely get in trouble for that. That is definitely battery. I remember when this happened. Some people online argued that Bradley overreacted, while others believed Ronaldo shouldn't have touched his hat, especially since Bradley is 3 times his size. But did Bradley commit a crime? Under California's right to defend personal property law, force is allowed if there's an immediate threat and the response is reasonable. However, since Ronaldo wasn't likely to destroy the hat, Bradley's reaction might be considered excessive. The police and courts take battery charges very seriously. If Bradley was charged, the burden would then fall on him to justify that the force he used was reasonable. Since Ronaldo wasn't armed, didn't pose any immediate threat to his property, and considering Bradley's massive size advantage, it's likely that he'd be found guilty of misdemeanor battery. In California, this carries a sentence of up to 6 months in jail and a $2,000 fine. Up next is Juan Gonzalez, a YouTuber who went viral for his prank video, cutting people's earphones, then giving them AirPods. In the video, Juan sneaks up on college students, snips their headphones without them noticing, and then offers a replacement, sometimes a similar pair, but often a pricier upgrade like AirPods Max. The video took off, sparking a trend. Creators like Young Mooch and Ben Asler jumped on board, posting dozens of similar videos that racked up millions, if not billions of views. For most students, losing cheap headphones in exchange for an expensive upgrade might seem like a win.
Thank you.
It's okay.
But legally, it's a different story. In Missouri, where Juan often films, intentionally damaging property worth under $750 is a Class B misdemeanor, punishable by up to 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. And that's not the only legal issue here. According to Missouri statutes, you can be charged with assault if you place someone in fear of imminent harm. Most of Juan's pranks don't cross that line until you see this clip, where he holds the scissors near someone's neck, then again here, and again. No one was physically hurt, but from the victim's perspective, it could feel like a serious threat. So Juan could be charged with 4th-degree assault, a Class A misdemeanor carrying up to a year in jail and a $2,000 fine. As expected, these pranks have stirred up major backlash online, but the outrage these YouTubers face is nothing compared to the next creator. On December 4th, 2024, Haley Welch, better known as Hawk2a Girl, launched her Hawk crypto coin. Its market value skyrocketed to $491 million, but crashed 95% within 12 hours, dropping to $60 million. Why is this a problem? Crypto is risky, but investors are now suing Haley, accusing her of a pump and dump scheme, where creators hype up a coin, drive up its price, then sell their shares for a quick profit, leaving others with worthless tokens. If prosecutors prove Haley intentionally scammed her fans, she could face securities fraud charges. Under the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, that can mean up to 20 years in prison and fines up to $5 million. However, as a first-time offender, her punishment would likely be closer to the average for securities fraud, around 46 months in prison. There's debate over whether Haley fully understood her actions, but when it comes to this next YouTuber, the internet agrees. Their crimes were completely out of line. On October 6, 2024, Jack Doherty drove his $200,000 McLaren through the wet streets of Miami with his cameraman Michael David filming. It started innocently until Jack started scrolling his phone at the wheel. Under Florida Statute 316.306, looking at your phone while driving is a non-criminal infraction. A first offense usually means a $30 fine plus court fees, while a second offense can bring a $60 fine, court fees, and a penalty on your driver's license. However, Jack's actions went way beyond just texting. He was also speeding. This combination led to him losing control on the wet road, crashing, and completely totaling his McLaren. Jack walked away without a scratch, but Michael wasn't as lucky. He suffered a serious head injury. Despite this, Jack insisted that Michael keep filming.
You have to film on that phone too.
Because Jack was allegedly speeding and texting, he could face reckless driving charges under Florida Statute 316.192. For a first-time offense, that's a misdemeanor, with up to 90 days in jail and fines up to $500. However, Michael's injury could escalate it to a 3rd-degree felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison and $5,000 in fines. And that's the reality of how real-life actions can lead to serious legal consequences, even for YouTubers. Thanks to Fishing Clash for supporting this channel. Check them out in the description below. And for more videos like this one, click here or there.